We've got two really fancy bits of gear on board the aircraft, a LiDAR, which is a laser scanner, and what that does is fire hundreds of thousands of pulses of laser light every second towards the ground, and very accurately measures how long it takes to get back up to the aircraft. And using that technology, we can get a really detailed 3D structure of the forest canopies and also the ground surface. So that's one bit of technology. And the second technology is hyperspectral imaging. And what that does is measure how much light is reflected off the forest canopy, but in 400 very narrow wavelengths rather than the camera, which only measures 3. And that gives you lots more information about the chemistry of the leaves and also the structure of the leaves, from which you can see how forests are changing across landscapes in a way you can't do with a normal camera. Well, the key thing we've worked on is measuring carbon, and carbon's very important in the context of climate change. And forests store a huge amount of carbon, and they also, secondary forests, are grabbing carbon out of the atmosphere and storing it in the wood. So it's an important thing to measure, and we're doing that with the LiDAR laser scanning approach. Well, there's some immensely tall forests in Sabah. We've found some trees well over 90 meters tall, and they're some of the highest carbon storing forests anywhere on the earth. So that's really interesting. And of course, the very degraded landscapes have hardly any carbon stored above ground, and they offer potential for restoration programs. Well, there's two sort of programs already underway. There's something called REDD, REDD Plus, where internationally there's schemes to pay developing countries for protecting their forests because of the carbon that those forests are absorbing. So that's one scheme. But also the Sabah Forestry Department, more specifically, is choosing areas across the Sabah landscape to protect. So high value for conservation areas, they're being protected in part using these carbon maps.
Great.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think the appetite for protecting forests is really strong in Sabah, which is fantastic, and so hopefully in the next few years we'll see more and more areas protected, not only outside the oil palm estates, but also little patches of forest in the landscapes which are predominantly oil palm now. So I think that's all good news after many years of forest loss and degradation.